Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to walk you through how to add an entity to the Arcane City database. Just to go over it, entities are anything you might want to reference in an event. Artists, bands, DJs, labels, producers, promoters, shops, venues, etc. There's a few other categories, but those are the main ones. And in order to be able to add anything to Arcane City, you need to be logged in. So first, if you haven't registered an account, you'd want to go up to register in the upper right hand corner and walk through that process. I already have an account, so if you have an account, you can just go ahead and log in. Click the login button, enter your username and password, and then from there you have a couple different ways you can add an entity. From the home page, there's a button here. You can click that to add an entity, or you can go to the top menu and you can go down to add an entity, and that takes you to this form. Not all of the fields in the form are required, but you're going to want to add as much information as possible. So when I add new entities to the database, I like to add something related to an event that you might already see there. So I'm going to go ahead and add the local artist Swamp Walk, because I know that they're not in the database yet. So I'm going to start here with a name, Swamp Walk. Now the slug is something that gets used in the URL, and it's automatically populated, but you can add your own slug there if you want it to be unique. The Swamp Walk, I'm going to go ahead and add just a brief description. Performer based in Pittsburgh, and that's just the short description there. You can add a more in-depth description, and I might go back and add a more in-depth description later based on what Swamp Walk puts on some of their social media. But just for now, I'm going to go ahead and move on, and I'm going to get the types. So the types here are group, individual, interest, or space. For this, it's an individual. And let's see, Facebook username, I believe they might have one. So again, not required, but this allows you to link a bit more information about an artist to their entity page. So I'm going to add that there. Twitter username, I'm not aware if they have one. Now roles, you've got some different roles here that you can select. So in this case, I might say producer, because they produce music. And then here under tags, I might say some tags that are keywords related to that artist and might describe them. I might say electronic, I might say folk. They're a pretty unique artist. We'll start with those. Here we can also select status. Active is what you would normally select. If you're got something in progress, you put draft. Inactive would only be if you wanted to inactivate an entity after they are no longer active. Started at could be a date that the project started. I'm not sure what that is for them. So that's really the basis. Aliases here, you can add an alias if the artist has an alias. Owner is just selecting who has the ability to edit the entity. If you don't put anything, it will just be you. If you want it to be another user, you can select them from that drop down. So from here we can go ahead and click add entity, and that creates the base entity for that new artist. Something else I'll do is I'll go ahead and just grab an image that they use, and I will save that locally, and I'll go back and I will go ahead and click. So in the upper right hand corner here you see drop a file here, so you can drag and drop it from your desktop, or if you click on that, it'll open up file dialog. You can't see that because I don't have that shared right now, but I'm selecting an image from my file browser. Go ahead and select that. It tries to upload it, and then that sets it as the default image for that artist or the entity. If you look here, you see there's a star here, so that means that's the primary photo. You can unset it there, so if you want to change the primary photo, you could upload other images and set a different one, or you can upload multiple images if you want to have more available on that entity's profile, but we're going to go ahead and keep that as the primary. Now once the entity has been added, you can actually add some additional information here. If it's a venue, you can add location. Generally for a performer, there's no location. For contact, not sure what the best contact is for them. Okay, so looking on their Facebook page, we see Swamp Walk PGH at Gmail. So I'll go ahead and add that. Swamp email, add that email address, add that as a contact. And then I know they also have a Bandcamp page, so I'm going to go to their Bandcamp page, grab that URL, go ahead and add a link for that. So you can add Bandcamp, save the URL, and I'm going to mark that as primary, clicking add that link. So that just adds another link to their page. And that's how you'd add an entity to the Arcane City database. Now, to carry on a little bit further, once the entity is added, if there are any events related to them, you'll see that here on the right side. So past events, future events. So what I'm going to do is go back and link. I know they have some events that might be useful to be linked here, so I'm going to go ahead and just search for some events that may not have been linked because there was no entity before. So I'm typing in Swamp Walk there, and then I know they have this event coming up on August 6th, so I'm going to go ahead and edit that event. And then I'm going to scroll down to related entities, and here I'll type Swamp Walk. It's auto searching for that, so I added them to the related entities, clicking update event. Okay, great. So now on the event itself, you'll see that there are tags for related entities, and there's a link. So if I click on that link, it'll take me to the Swamp Walk page, and you'll see now there's a future event related. And that's how you'd relate a event to an entity that you just added.